That whole family gathered around a wooden box, not watching it, but listening to it. That way of having fun that has completely disappeared. Before endless screens and instant everything, Americans entertained themselves in ways that now seem almost unimaginable. The games, the outings, the shared national moments, so much of it is simply gone, replaced by a kind of fun a person from that era would not recognize. In a few minutes, you are going to hear about the entertainment the whole family gathered around every night that used their imagination instead of their eyes. The Friday night outing every teenager lived for, that has almost vanished. And the one shared moment that stopped the entire country at the same time, that could never happen today. 50 vanished ways of having fun fill this video. These are the ones that make people say, "We really did that, and it was wonderful." All of them real. All of them how America played. If you grew up in the 1950s or 60s, you did not just see these things. You did them every week, and they were the best times you can remember. Subscribe before we start, and stay to the end, because the last one is the kind of fun people say they miss more than anything. Before the television took over the living room, the family gathered every evening around the radio and simply listened. There were dramas, mysteries, comedies, and adventure serials, full stories told with only voices, music, and sound effects. A door creaking, footsteps, a scream, and your own mind built the rest. The whole family sat together in the glow of the dial, and each person saw the story a little differently, painted inside their own imagination. Here is what that quietly did. Radio made you an active partner in the story. The pictures were in your head, richer than any screen could show, and a generation grew up with powerful imaginations because their entertainment demanded it. At its height in the 1940s, more than 8 in 10 Americans were regular radio listeners, and the evening programs shaped the whole nation's schedule. Then television arrived, and in barely a decade it swallowed the radio drama whole. By the late 1950s, the great radio stories had moved to TV or simply ended, and the family that once gathered to listen and to imagine gathered to watch instead. The theater of the mind went dark. The next thing got the young people out of the house and onto their feet. Young people danced, in person, together, and it was the center of social life. There were sock hops in the school gym, where you took off your shoes to protect the floor and danced in your socks to records spun by a disc jockey. There were dance halls and church socials. There was the jukebox in the corner of every diner, where a nickel bought a song and the whole room shared it, and a boy actually had to walk across the room, ask a girl to dance to her face, and risk being told no. Here is what has been lost. Dancing was how young people met, courted, and belonged, face to face, in public, in their best clothes, in front of everyone. You learned real dances, you touched hands, you were nervous, and the whole thing happened in a room full of other people, rather than alone behind a screen. Social life was physical, shared, and brave. Recorded music everywhere, then headphones, then the phone, slowly pulled the shared dance apart. The sock hop and the dance hall faded, the jukebox went quiet, and dancing together in a room full of neighbors gave way to listening alone. The public, in-person dance that a whole generation grew up on largely disappeared. Before we go on, tell me in the comments, did you go to sock hops or dances? What song got everyone on their feet? I read every single one. An evening out meant going to a real place, full of people, and doing something together. There was the roller rink with an organ or a jukebox where the whole town skated in a circle and the couples skated hand in hand when the lights went low. There was the bowling alley, a booming social scene where leagues packed the lanes every night. There was the drive-in movie under the stars, the penny arcade with its mechanical games and fortune tellers, and the simple ritual of cruising the main drag on a Friday night, windows down, radio up, just to see and be seen. Here is what made it special. Fun was a destination and a gathering. You went out to be among people, to run into everyone you knew, to be part of a crowd on a Friday night. Entertainment pulled you out into the world and into the company of others, instead of pulling you deeper into a couch alone. television first, and then the screen in every hand, slowly made staying in more entertaining than going out. The roller rinks closed, the great bowling leagues shrank, the arcades and drive-ins dwindled, and the Friday night out among a crowd of neighbors became a quieter, more solitary thing. The next kind of fun cost nothing and happened right at the kitchen table. A great deal of fun happened at home, and it centered on people being together in a room with nothing but each other. Families and neighbors gathered for card games, canasta and bridge and poker, that ran late into the night with coffee and cake. There were board games the whole family played together. There was the simple art of visiting, where people dropped by unannounced and stayed for hours, and Sunday drives with no destination, just to see the country. Adults had real hobbies, sewing circles, model building, gardening clubs, done in the company of others. Here is the heart of it. The entertainment was each other. The point of the evening was conversation, laughter, a little friendly competition, the ordinary pleasure of company. Nobody needed to be amused by a device, because the people in the room were the entertainment, and the talk was the show. Screens gave everyone something to look at instead of each other. Busy, scattered lives ended the dropping by. The unannounced visit became an intrusion. The card night grew rare, and the simple, deep pleasure of an evening spent talking and playing with the people right in front of you slowly faded from ordinary life. The last one is the kind of fun people miss the most, the thing no screen has ever replaced. And some of the most powerful fun was something we have almost completely lost. The shared moment, when the entire country did the same thing at the same time. With only a few channels, when a big show aired, nearly everyone watched it, on the same night, and talked about it the next morning. The whole nation laughed at the same joke, gasped at the same episode, cheered the same game, in real time, together. A holiday special came once a year, and everyone saw it at once. A championship, a moon landing, a variety show, these were national campfires that the whole country sat around at the same instant. Here is what made it precious. It was shared. You were not watching alone. You were watching with 100 million other Americans, and you knew it. And the next day, everyone had seen the same thing and could talk about it. That common experience wove the whole country together in a way that is almost impossible now. Endless channels and on-demand, everything shattered the shared moment. Now everyone watches something different, at a different time, alone, and the great national campfire, the thing everybody saw together, has broken into a million private screens. We gained infinite choice, and we lost the feeling of watching together. And that is really the thread through every single thing on this list. The fun of that era brought people into the same room, at the same time, face to face. The family around the radio, the teenagers at the dance, the crowd at the roller rink, the neighbors at the card table, the whole country around one broadcast. Whatever the entertainment was, its deepest purpose was togetherness. It gave people a reason to gather, and the gathering was the real joy, more than the game or the show or the song. Here is the whole heart of it. Fun used to be something you did with other people, in person, and it pulled you toward them. So much of it now is something you do alone, on a screen, and it pulls you away from them. The pastimes changed, but what really changed is that entertainment stopped being a doorway to each other and became a substitute for each other. The world traded the shared for the convenient, the crowded roller rink for the private screen, and gained endless choice and comfort by it. But something warm was lost in the trade, the simple magic of having fun together, in the same room, at the same time, with the people you knew. But if you skated in that circle, or danced in that gym, or sat with the family around the radio, you remember exactly how it felt, and no one can take that back. The family gathered around the radio, seeing the story in their minds, the sock hop and the jukebox and the nervous walk across the room, the roller rink and the bowling league and the cruise down the main drag, the card games and the visiting and the Sunday drive, and the shared broadcast that stopped the whole country at once. Every one of it, gone or nearly gone. Nearly all of it replaced by a screen that entertains us better than ever, and alone more than ever. None of it felt special at the time. It was just having fun. It was just Friday night, just the evening, just what you did with the people around you, in the ordinary rhythm of a life. We do not really miss the games or the shows. We miss the togetherness, the room full of people, the crowd on a Friday night. The whole family, the whole town, the whole country, all having fun in the same place at the same time. That kind of fun does not come back on its own, but it does not really leave either. It is still here, in a memory, in you, and you can still choose to gather, and play, and be together. So tell me in the comments, what did you do for fun as a kid or a teenager? Name it, and one thing you remember. Not the activity, the people who were there. Subscribe, and we will keep looking back together, because there is a lot more of this country left to remember.